Good evening to everybody out in Facebook and YouTube land. But more importantly, good evening, Pontiac. This is what it's all about. Today, we're about to go and have one of the most epic events that we have all year round here in this community. I'm talking about our Legends and Trailblazers, our third annual Legends and Trailblazers event. And this is always a moment that has me absolutely excited and ecstatic because we're talking about history, Pontiac history. Black history is one side of it too, and that's something that we need to go ahead and do a little bit more of, especially in the educational systems. But when it comes to Pontiac history, it keeps falling through the cracks, and as far as I'm concerned, that is unacceptable. But that is the reason why we are here tonight, to be able to go ahead and celebrate some of these absolute greats. Individuals that the awards are named after are posthumous awards. These are individuals that have given their heart, body, and soul to their legacy, to build their legacy, and the reason why the awards are actually holding their names. And then we're talking about the individuals that are actually receiving the awards. We're talking about individuals these are basically lifetime achievement awards. For you to even be considered for these awards, you have to have at least 30 to 35 years of service in a particular career path. And I'm talking about in the field of education, liturgical, which is faith-based. We're talking about activism. We're talking about education. We're talking about music. And this year, we decided that we were falling short over the years when we did the first two. So we decided that we need to go ahead and add something that is very crucial to this community, and it rings and it resounds so loudly. I'm speaking about the athletic field. So we had to go ahead and add the athletic category, and the person that we picked to go ahead and name the award after, two people we named the award after, is as two absolute legends. But even beyond that, the person that's going to be receiving this award, which we'll go ahead and tell you about a little bit later in this show, is going to be somebody that everyone, when you hear the name, you're going to say they are absolutely fitting to be the first one to actually hold that particular award and title. So I am excited, Pontiac. This is what it's all about. We are about to get going for one incredible, sensational evening. So I want you to go ahead and sit back. I want you to go and get your dinner right. I want you to go and get your drink ready. I want you to get situated, get your watch parties going. I want you to get your smart TVs popping. And I want YouTube to go ahead and be jumping off the scales. And if I don't see you on YouTube, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Facebook, because we are about to have one sensational night. All right, Pontiac, let's get it. But for us to go ahead and get started, it's only right that I bring to you an absolute powerhouse. I'm talking about a woman who has been giving it to you on the Oakland County scale. This is a woman who fights her tail off to make sure on the county level that Pontiac is going to get their very just due on any and everything that we are entitled to as a community. Besides, the county seat only sits in Pontiac too, so it's only right that we have an absolute true warrior to be able to go ahead and push all the agendas that we need to have pushed to make sure that Pontiac is going to be all right. That being said, it is with the greatest honor that I ask that you please put your hands together with me and welcome our Oakland County Commissioner, Miss Angela Powell, to your TV screen, or shall I say your computer screen. Take it away, Commissioner Powell, and thank you for your words. Let's go.
Thank you so much, Keynote Phillips, who represents the Ascent Foundation. Hello, Pontiac. It's your girl here. I just want to say this about Ascent Foundation. They're doing amazing things here in our community. And this event, the third annual Legends Trailblazers Black History Virtual Celebration, this year, Ascent Foundation is doing it in partnership with Pontiac Collective Impact Partnership and ACES. Thank you, Keynote, for always trying to do things in a collaborative effort. Now, this event is going to honor individuals who are from the city of Pontiac or even moved here. But guess what? They committed 35 years of service to this community, making sure and trying to improve it, just like what I'm doing myself as your county commissioner. Some of the honorees that we are going to be honoring tonight are people who have helped me to become the lady, the woman that I am today. And just to name a few, Serenia Taborn, one of my teachers, one of my leaders when I was in high school. Patrice Waterman has been walking me through the steps and helping me navigate as a commissioner. Pastor Roger Jackson, always in my ear to tell me what I should do, what I shouldn't do, but it's always sound advice. Eddie McDonald, political guru of the state of Michigan, right here from our city, making sure Democrats get elected across the state. And last but not least, Donald Duck McConnor, What better way than any of us know he lived in the Holland Center? But guess what? He made sure us youth kept our acts together and stayed on a straight and narrow, great path in this community. So with that being said, have a seat, relax, and enjoy this show today. Have a great one.
Thank you so much, Oakland County Commissioner Angela Powell. You felt that energy resonating off of her. That's what this is about. She's setting the tempo. Tonight is going to be absolutely epic. And Pontiac, this is our night. This is us celebrating us. We're showing the lineage of great dynamic history makers that have blazed these trails. And we're about to go ahead and kick this off the correct way. But you just heard from one absolute dynamo. And when I say dynamo, Angela, once again, please allow me to go and say to you, thank you so much for the tireless fight that you go ahead and put on a day-to-day basis up on that county level. Because you are truly an ambassador for this community and a true warrior to make sure that we're going to be good. And I absolutely appreciate you for that. But next, it's only right that we go ahead and take the person who's holding the helm for the community of Pontiac. And I'm talking about none other than the mayor of the great city of Pontiac, Mayor Tim Grimo. This is a gentleman that's been sitting over there rolling up his sleeves on a multitude of levels. Started out with the school board side up in Auburn Hills and then worked his way all the way up into Pontiac fighting on the county side. Then it went down to the state level. And now he's back home here in Pontiac where he leads this particular community to make sure that we're going to go ahead and be ushered off into the next phase of our professional careers when it comes to a city, a municipality, a multi-million-dollar corporation. So without further ado, I ask that you please put your hands together and give a warm Pontiac welcome to the mayor of the city of Pontiac, Mr. Tim Grimo. Take it away, Mayor.
Good evening, and thank you, Keynote, for that very kind introduction. We're so excited about the third annual Legends and Trailblazers event. This is such a great and amazing way to celebrate not just Pontiac's history in the past, but our ongoing history through our current leaders and activists, clergy people, as well as our educators and sports legends. And I want to thank all of the sponsors who make this year's event possible. That includes, of course, the one and only Keynote Phillips and the Ascend Foundation, but also the Pontiac Collective Impact Partnership and ACES Veteran Services. I want to congratulate this year's recipients. I want to thank you as recipients for your amazing ongoing leadership in our community and for all of your dedication and commitment to serving the residents of Pontiac. Thank you again to tuning in tonight, and thank you to the sponsors for making this possible. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Mayor Grimo, for your words. But even more importantly than that, thank you so much for understanding the importance on why we put this type of event together for this community. We got to go ahead and preserve our own legacy, our own heritage, and that's what this is all about. So I appreciate the work you've done and accepting the challenge to go ahead and sit in that in the driver's seat when it comes to a city like ours, because there's so much work and so much ground to cover, but I'm very sure you'll be up to the task to go and continue it on for the next 3 years. So for that, I say salute. But next, it's only right that we go ahead and bring one of our true legends, one of the individuals that thought enough of what it is that we were looking to go ahead and do, to go ahead and join in to help be a sponsor of what it is that, or a partner, I should say, of this event we're going to have this evening. And I'm talking about none other than the 55-year veteran I'm speaking of is none other than Mr. H. Bill Maxey and ACES Veteran Services. But also going ahead, coming in and accompany Mr. Maxey, I brought another person who's blazing one dynamic trail for himself. I'm talking about none other than Dr. Semino Scott and the Pontiac Collective Impact Partnership. Talking about someone who went and came back to Pontiac and brought his gifts and attributes and making it count. He is hitting, it is sticking, and wow, I mean, it has been absolutely explosive. And that's what I'm talking about. So when I got put Mr. Maxey on one side and I go ahead and put Dr. Scott on the other side, it's like nitro and glycerin. We put them together, it's absolutely explosive. All in all, it is absolutely amazing that we were able to come together as a collective to provide you with this event we have here this evening. So to all of our winners, I want to say salute. But next, it takes a legend to go ahead and know a legend. And so when we start talking about greatness, I'm about to bring to you a woman who means the absolute world to me, and she just happens to be serving as one of our keynotes this afternoon. I'm speaking about none other than the incomparable Chief Judge Cynthia T. Walker. Chief Judge Cynthia Thomas Walker is one of 4 judges at the 50th District Court in Pontiac, where she has served since 2003. She was appointed as Chief Judge in January 2010 and continuously serves in that capacity. Prior to taking the bench, Judge Walker served as court administrator for the 50th District Court, city attorney for the community of Pontiac, and as a staff attorney for the UAW Legal Services and for Legal Services of Eastern Michigan. She was named 2015 Judge of the Year by the Michigan District Judges Association for her commitment to access to justice, community outreach, education, and public service. Judge Walker has been a member of the Oakland County Bar Association for many years and currently serves on its board of directors. She has served as chair and vice chair of the OCBA Diversity and District Court Committees, where she was also a speaker for the OCBA Youth Law Conference. In addition to her OCBA activities, Judge Walker serves on the Michigan Judicial Institute Academic Advisory Committee and has been an instructor for the last 3 sessions of the MJI's New Judges Seminar. Also, she serves as a member of the Oakland County District Judges Association, the Association of Black Judges of Michigan, and the D. Augustus Stracker Bard Association, where she formerly served as the membership chair. She has also served on the State Bar of Michigan Membership Services Committee. Judge Walker previously volunteered as a judge for the Michigan Center for Civic Education High School Mock Trial Tournament. Taking her dedication to public service absolutely seriously, Judge Walker is a frequent speaker at the local schools and churches on topics such as truancy, consequences of impulsive behaviors, and decision making. She is a former board member of the Women Officials Network, Kiwanis Club of Pontiac and Haven, and has served on the Domestic Violence Advisory Council for the famous Central Multicultural La Familia. Judge Walker is also an avid supporter of the Oakland County Veterans Group and considers it a great honor to have been a past recipient of the American Legion Americanism Award. Judge Walker is a Chicago native who moved to Michigan immediately after graduation from Valparaiso University Law School. She has one son who is a recent graduate of Michigan State University. As we can see, this dynamic woman is an absolute force of nature, and Pontiac, she is ours. For your approval, I present to you our first keynote speaker for this evening. Pontiac, please join me in welcoming Chief Judge Cynthia Walker to your screen. Please take it away, Chief Judge Walker.
Thank you so much, Kano. I just want to thank the Ascend Foundation and also the supporting sponsors, ACES Veterans Group and the Pontiac Collective Impact Partnership, for just helping put this all together. I cannot thank you enough for all the work that you do. I can't thank the Ascend Foundation enough for all the work that it does, giving back to this community, working with our youth. A lot of people talk about how the youth are our future, but the Ascend Foundation and all of these supporting organizations put real feet to that work, so thank you for that. Now, while it's certainly an honor and a privilege to have served as a judge at 50th District Court for the past 20 years, I didn't get here by myself. I'm standing on the shoulders of many of the great, legendary people of this community. The Elbert Hatchetts, the Milton Henrys, Judge Christopher Brown, Judge Leo Bowman, Judge William Waterman, Judge Preston Thomas. All of these greats came before me, and they actually prepared a place for me so that I could take the bench and do the work at 50th District Court, and I truly, truly appreciate that. They are the ones who did the heavy lifting. At a time when there were not opportunities for people who looked like me, and for women especially. So I have to thank them. I'm standing on their shoulders. I don't believe I have any superpowers, but I do have a strong work ethic that I got from my parents, my grandparents, and my strong belief, which came from my ancestors, that God will provide a way if you trust Him and you let Him fight your battles for you. And that's something I sincerely believe. So I'm grateful. I'm in a very grateful space. I'm grateful to this community for supporting me all these years. I'm grateful to the people who came before me. And I'm just grateful that I have an opportunity to serve this community, even though I didn't grow up here. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, but Pontiac has been my home since the mid-'80s. And I appreciate everything that everyone has done to make this community what it is, and I think it's ever improving. So I realize, though, as a judge, that sometimes confidence in our public officials gets eroded, and that's one of the reasons that I'm very serious about my commitment to the city. I'm serious about trying to treat people with dignity and respect, because I think it's critical in enforcing and imposing the rule of law that I have to, as I hold people accountable, and I know the citizens hold me accountable. So I think it's important for all judges just to be even-tempered and to treat people properly. And for all those young people who may be watching, I just want to encourage you that you can do what I'm doing right now. It just takes hard work, it takes commitment, and it takes focus. So try not to be distracted. You can do this. And for anyone who's interested, I welcome you to contact me and to visit our court, see what I do on a daily basis. This can be you. So thank you again to the Ascend Foundation and supporting partners for making this happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, now do you see why I'm so excited this evening? This is what it's all about. You just saw an absolute legend come across your computer screen. We're talking about a woman who's been blazing trails for decades now. And that's what this is all about. It's all about creating a legacy, blazing a pathway for the next generation coming up. And that's why this next speaker is important. But before I get to the speaker, I need you to please do me a favor and put your hands together one more time for the legendary Chief Judge Cynthia Walker. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Chief Walker. But the next person is a young man who is not playing around out here, ladies and gentlemen, and he is an absolute Pontiac product. I'm talking about the Honorable Circuit Judge Kwame L. Rowe. Judge Rowe is a lifelong resident of Pontiac in Oakland County. Judge Rowe graduated from James Madison College at Michigan State University with his Bachelor's of Arts degree in Social Relations and Policy, and he majored in Political Theory, Constitutional Democracy. Upon graduation from Michigan State, he went on to get his Juris Doctorate from Thomas M. Cooley Law School. Upon graduation, he went and pursued his career as an assistant prosecuting attorney for Oakland County from the years of 2015 to 2021 in human trafficking division, complex narcotics, and homicide cases. As he left there, he was appointed to the Oakland County Circuit Court by Governor Gretchen Whitmer in August 2021, becoming the second African-American male to serve on the 6th Circuit bench. He was elected to the Oakland County Circuit Court in November 2022. Kwame Rowe is also a member of the State Bar of Michigan and Oakland County Bar Association member. Oakland County SAVE Task Force, serving adults who are vulnerable and or elderly. He also serves as a member of the Association of Black Judges of Michigan. And if that's not enough, he also is a member of the Wolverine Bar Association. I need you to please put your hands together and give a warm round of applause for this young dynamo who is taking the legal field by storm. I'm speaking about none other than the one, the only, Pontiac's one and only, Circuit Judge Kwame Rowe. Take it away, Judge Rowe, and thank you, sir.
Thank you, and thank you, Kano, for the invitation, and thank you for having me here. Thank you for the warm introduction. As you've heard, I am a Pontiac native. I went to Pontiac Northern High School. Go Huskies! I graduated in 2007 from Pontiac Northern High School, and so this event means a lot to me because it shows and gives acknowledgement to those who came before us, those who blazed the path before us, who got people like me to where I am today. So events like this, absolutely amazing and important to the people of the city of Pontiac, and it's important to me as one of your judges at the Oakland County Circuit Court. So I want to talk to you about a little bit about trailblazing and people setting the stage for individuals like me. One of the individuals you've already heard from tonight is Judge Cynthia Walker, and I just want to say shout out to Judge Cynthia Walker because she's one of the individuals that I met at Pontiac Northern High School when I was a student there, and she taught youth in government. So it's amazing now, we look almost 17 years later, that now she's a friend and colleague. But without people like her, I would not be here. Without people such as, I will say, Judge Leo Bowman, who was the first African-American man from Pontiac to be a circuit court judge at the Oakland County Circuit Court. He was the first. I am now the second. Without him, I would not be in the seat that I'm in now. Without people like Lois Williams, who was the first African-American female lawyer from the city of Pontiac, I would not be standing here talking in front of you all today. I tell people all the time, people like Miss Williams, who went from being a lawyer to then being a teacher, saved my life, and I'm sure she saved many other lives. And so when we talk about trailblazers, we're talking about those people that actually make an impact on their community. We're talking about people that care about their community. So trailblazers is just not a word that we throw around. We want to acknowledge these individuals, give these individuals their flowers while they're still here. Some of the individuals I have mentioned, Miss Williams, she's not here, but I will let you all know she's still a trailblazer. Give these people their flowers. We need to look at our community members. We are not just the city of Pontiac. We are bigger than the city of Pontiac. We're larger than the city of Pontiac. People from the city of Pontiac go places. They don't just stay here in the state of Michigan. There are people in the city of Pontiac all over the world that are making a difference. And so as I stand here before you all today, I just want us to all just take a moment and reflect on those who have blazed the trail for all of us. Take a moment to think about those individuals, and let's take a moment to celebrate those individuals tonight. Again, Kano, thank you for putting on this event. This is an amazing event. As always, you always have a friend in me, so always call me as you will. With that being said, everyone, you all have a great night. Thank you for having me, and let's celebrate those trailblazers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw the walking personification of what the word legacy looks like. You just saw Chief Judge Cynthia Walker, who's been blazing trails for decades, go ahead and pass the baton to that next generation, an absolute powerhouse within itself. I'm speaking about none other than Circuit Judge Kwame Rowe. And I want to go ahead and thank you too, Judge Rowe, for taking the baton and letting everybody know that this generation has absolutely got it. You're the one that's blazing the trail for the next group that's going to come behind all these legends that we're celebrating this evening, to let people know that you got next. Your generation has next. And the city of Pontiac is in great hands. So ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please put your hands together one more time for Chief Judge Cynthia Walker and Oakland County Circuit Judge Kwame Rowe. Put your hands together. But next, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get down to the reason why we're here this evening. I'm talking about celebration of our true trailblazers, the ones who have laid it out on a regular basis for a multitude of years. These are Lifetime Achievement Awards that we're about to go ahead and celebrate. And so, without me going a little bit deeper than I need to, and let me not get more longer-winded than I've already gotten, let's go ahead and get to our awards. Come on, Pontiac, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, our first honorees this evening will be receiving the Hank and Thad Jones Musical Trailblazer Award. And in all transparency, Pontiac, and seeing an error in us naming this award, it's only right that we go ahead and get this rectified. There aren't only two, there are three legendary Jones brothers that have made a sensational impact on the world of music. So next year, the name of the award will be called the Hank, Thad, and Elvin Jones Musical Trailblazer Award. It is not overly surprising that Thad, Hank, and Elvin were all jazz musicians. What is astonishing is that all three were exceptional, each with a distinctive and accomplished playing and recording career. By my count, the three brothers recorded 5 incredible, legendary albums. Thad playing trumpet and flugelhorn, and Hank playing piano and organ with Irvin on the drums. As brothers, the Jones playing together were more about listening and working as one. They were more in awe of each other's abilities than stepping on toes. The brothers played with this refined elegance and taste, steering clear of elbowing and crowding on any track. Thaddeus Jones was a composer, known as one of the greatest jazz trumpet soloists of all time. He also served in World War II. After his service served, he came back and joined the Count Basie Orchestra, then the Duke Ellington Orchestra, and later joined the Thelonious Monk. He went on to receive a Grammy for all of his incredible work in the jazz world. Later, he became leader of the Count Basie Orchestra. This is what we call a Pontiac legend, and this is why we celebrate this man's legacy tonight. Next, we go to his brother Hank, who is known as the godfather of all jazz pianists. He played with people like Ella Fitzgerald, Cannonball Adderley, Benny Goodman, and Charlie Parker. He recorded over 60 albums, 60 Pontiac. He also played on the Ed Sullivan Show and also with the legendary Marilyn Monroe on her track, Happy Birthday, Mr. President. In 2009, we're talking about Hank receiving one of the greatest honors humanly imaginable. He received a Lifetime Achievement Award, a Grammy, for his incredible career in the jazz world and his contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to please put your hands together one more time for the legacy of Hank, Thad, and Irvin Jones. 3 true Pontiac legends, 3 true Pontiac Trailblazers. Tonight, we salute you. Ladies and gentlemen, our first award recipient this evening is none other than the one and only polarizing Mr. Tony Jefferson. To the community of Pontiac and everyone watching, I ask that you please join us this evening as we celebrate the life and legacy of Mr. Jefferson. Mr. Jefferson's musical journey began in the church at the age of 15. The church and his mother are what and who he credits for his incredible foundation in music. God blessed him with a musical gift that is unparalleled. The guitar was the musical weapon of choice that launched his musical brilliance. Always giving his praise and glory to God, he believes that his mother was the chosen vessel to bless and send him on his path. This happened the moment that his mother gave him a guitar instead of that train set that he so passionately asked for. Respecting his gospel roots, he has played for various churches: Johnson Temple Gothic, Welcome Missionary Baptist Church, New Mount Moriah International, Greater Way Church, and currently he serves as the musical coordinator at Remnant Worshippers Ministry for 19 years. He has been awarded with many honorable recognitions in his travels. He has a Star on the Walk from the city of Pontiac, received a Silver of Production from the city of Pontiac as well. He was selected as a finalist in the 2023 Entertainer of the Year from the state of Michigan. And this is just to name a few. He truly feels blessed. In 2005, Tony created a band called New Strategy. He prides himself on playing across multiple genres of music. He has played at events and venues like Baker's Keyboard Lounge in Detroit, Arts Beats and Eats, Detroit Princess Boat, Dream Cruise, and Birch Marketplace, Judge Mathis' birthday celebration, and one of the Four Tops, the legendary Ronnie McNair's, who he has accompanied on stage. Along with these outings, he has played with the legendary groups that we know today as the Ohio Players and Cameo. As you can see, Pontiac, he was made this city look good all over the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask for your approval that you put your hands together one more time for the incomparable Mr. Tony Jefferson, a true Pontiac legend. Take it away, Mr. Jefferson.
Yes, I want to thank you, Kano, and the Ascent Foundation. I appreciate this award, and it really means something to me, right now. I've been, at this music for a long time, and been out here, trying to grind and do what I need to do, and I just thank God right now for being here right now. I'm just very grateful right now to be here to accept this award, and I appreciate somebody even throwing my name out there like that, you know, and it was a surprise to me. And, you know, I got to give it up to all the people that I played with, like Rodney McNair, Gwen Fox, and all the people that will support me through all these years, you know, and was there for me, you know. And I like to thank the people that when I was trying to play a guitar, you know, like Stanley Jeter back in the day used to come around and sit down with me and play and show me some chords, stuff like that. I thank God for them people because they brought me up, you know, from a long way. And especially I like to thank God because if it wasn't for God and the vision of my mom, hey, I wouldn't even be here because she had a vision that I was going to be playing the guitar. And I'm very grateful. And like I said, I thank you. And I thank you, Keynote. Again, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please put your hands together one more time for the incredible Mr. Tony Jefferson, a true Pontiac legend. But next, this person, when you hear the word Trailblazer, you don't have to go and look far. All you got to do is look at the person we're about to go and bring to your computer screen this evening. And I'm talking about someone that's not only doing it on the musical side, but also doing it in the field of law. I'm speaking about none other than the incredible Mr. Kenny Birch. At 10 years of age while in school, Kenny Birch was handed an upright bass and was enthralled with the instrument as well as the possibility of becoming a musician. At the age of 13, with the help of Amos Johnson, now known as Dr. Amos Johnson, MD, the son of New Bethel Baptist Church former minister, the Reverend Amos Johnson, taught Kenny Birch how an electric bass guitar was similar to an upright bass. He taught him how to play along with records, and at the age along with Quincy Stewart, a childhood friend and a legend himself. He began playing in nightclubs, concerts, and events throughout the city of Pontiac. At the age of 15, he began playing with the group Third Degree and Pontiac's legendary drummer, the late Hooker Borders. At the age of 16, he became one of the founding members of Orange Lake Drive. Kenny Birch with Orange Lake Drive has had the privilege of playing on some of the greatest stages in the world, including the Apollo Theater with the late Philippe Wynne of the Spinners. He has opened for such artists as Joe Samples, the Crusaders, Buddy Rich, the Dramatics, Ramsey Lewis, Wynton and Branford Marsalis, numerous acts at DTE Music Theater, formerly known as Pine Knob, Detroit's Montrose Jazz Festival numerous times, Shane Park, Royal Oak Music Theater, and in addition, performing on a regular basis at Detroit's premier jazz spot, Baker's Keyboard Lounge. He recorded albums such as Transcend, The Cat, Henry's View, Fresh Squeezed, Fast Eddie, Driven, Pulp Fusion. Currently, the group has an album in the works soon to be released. The first album, Transcend, became the top album of the jazz charts along with such artists as Chick Corea, Bob James, Earl Klugh, Spyro Gyra, Pat Metheny, and the legendary Dave Sanborn, along with Michael Franks and Stanley Clarke. At the age of 20, he married his high school sweetheart, and they are still married to this day. To this point, the group Orange Lake Drive had been playing consistently for 50 weeks per year, and while performing in Chicago one night, with a wife and child at home, he decided that upon returning home, he would enroll at Oakland Community College. While continuing to perform with Orange Lake Drive, he became a graduate of Oakland Community College with a degree in business administration. He received a bachelor's degree from Walsh College of Accountancy and Business Administration, and ultimately received his Juris Doctorate degree from the University of Detroit School of Law, while becoming a professional musician for over 40 years. He also specializes in personal injury litigation with his office for the past 30 years in the city of Pontiac. And as you can see, to the community of Pontiac and everybody out there watching, this is just a snippet of the reason why we honor him this evening. So ladies and gentlemen, it's with the greatest honor that I ask that you please put your hands together for the legendary Mr. Kenny Birch, a true Pontiac legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Birch to the screen. Take it away, Mr. Birch.
I'd like to say thank you to the Ascend Foundation and to Kano Phillips for this award. It is truly an honor to receive it. I started playing the upright bass when I was in the 5th grade, at Crowford Elementary School. And I was playing that for a few years, and then I gravitated over to the electric bass, and I played that with Quincy Stewart, Amos Johnson, Alger Sneed. We had a group then. We played for a few years. After that, I went to play with Third Degree Band, and that was with Hooker Borders, fantastic musicians. I mean, we played hard. I can remember Hooker to this day saying, "Kenny, play hard, play hard." And that's what we did. We just, you had to give it all that you had, all that you could. And we played for a number of years, and later on, I went to play with Orange Lake Drive, and when we started Orange Lake Drive, I was 16 years old. Fantastic musicians. And I'm gonna tell a real quick story. We were at the Powell Theater one night in New York. We were playing there with Felipe Wynn. The Dramatics were playing also. They were flying across the stage. I asked, and we finished our show, and we were watching the Dramatics. I asked Felipe, why are we playing so hard? This is like a dress rehearsal. There's not that many people here. He told me, he said, "Kenny, remember, there's only about 10 people out in that audience tonight. But you could have somebody out there from the New York Times, from Capitol Records, from Columbia Records. You just don't know. So you always have to give it your best. You always have to do the best that you can." The rest of the week at the theater, it was sold out. So we had such a good time, but I never forgot that lesson. And the one other thing I want to say about this is that it's such a privilege to have a job in the music business where you can't wait to go to work. So I tell the young folks, if you're listening to this, if you have a dream in the music business, it could be in the corporate world, no matter what it is, make sure you go for it. Don't throw away that shot. Once again, thank you, Keynote Phillips and the Ascend Foundation. It's truly a pleasure to receive this award.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please put your hands together one more time for your approval for Mr. Kenny Birch, a true Pontiac legend. Thank you so much for your contribution to the music scene as well as to the field of law. Thank you, Mr. Birch, for making Pontiac look good. Ladies and gentlemen, this next award going out to our honorees is named after two absolute legends in the liturgical field. I'm speaking about none other than Reverend Eddie A. McDonald and Elder Willie Elam. On March 8, 1999, the world and Pontiac lost an absolute trailblazing legend in the passing of Reverend Eddie McDonald Sr. of Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. For his lifetime of service in a multitude of years, Pastor McDonald was known as one of the most respected and influential leaders in the city of Pontiac. It is nearly impossible to imagine what the landscape of Pontiac would look like had Pastor McDonald chosen not to move here from North Carolina in 1953. On March 28, 1968, Pastor McDonald became the pastor of Friendship Missionary Baptist Church and held the position up until his untimely transition. Pastor McDonald's influence on not only on this world, but in the church extended way beyond just the walls of that cathedral. He wasn't pushed out into the community and touched the world like none other through a multitude of professional organizations. Organizations like the Pontiac Citizens Coalition, Lighthouse, and Pontiac Youth Assistance Program. Pastor McDonald also served as president of the Oakland County Ministerial Fellowship. If you ever want to get a good idea of the legacy that man pushed, not only by himself, but also what he was able to go ahead and carry over through his children, all you have to do is take a real good look at Eddie McDonald, what he's doing in the field of politics. Look at Derek McDonald, what he's doing not only from a liturgical standpoint, following in his father's footsteps, but also the impact he's made on the community of Pontiac. And let's not even talk about Sandy McDonald, what he's been able to do when he was here in Pontiac and now down in Florida, carrying on the legacy and holding Pontiac high. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with the greatest honor that I ask you that you please put your hands together one more time for the legacy of Reverend Eddie A. McDonald, a true Pontiac legend. Next we have Elder Willie George Elam Sr. Elder Elam was known as the patriarch of the legendary Elam family of Pontiac, Michigan. Elder Elam remained steadfast in the apostles' doctrine, at which time he founded and began pastoring at Christ Temple Apostolic Church on Sanford Street, and a few years later moved to 539 South Paddock Street, for all our East Siders is better known as the White House on the Hill. Elder Elam was an active member of the Northern District Council of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World. He was district elder of the 19th District and was very active in most auxiliaries. Even with that, it pales in comparison to his 55 years of service in which he gave back to the Pontiac community. And he did that through a multitude of initiatives. Everything from give back initiatives all the way through educational pushes. Educational pushes that saw him giving 15 years of his life to the Pontiac School District Board of Education. Words in the English language fail when one tries to describe Elder Willie G. Elam Sr. and all that he stood for. He was also known as the modern-day Abraham because of everything that he did for the community of Pontiac. On February 4th in 2018, he went on to go ahead and join the Lord. But prior to him passing, he left a legacy that's rich and it still stands with the Elam family today. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you please put your hands together one more time for the life and legacy of Elder Willie George Elam Sr., a true Pontiac legend. Ladies and gentlemen, our next award recipient is in the liturgical category. And I'm speaking about a man who's given his heart, body, and soul to this community in so many different ways and fashions. I ask that you, Pontiac, and everyone watching, all of his family and friends, I please ask that you put your hands together for the legacy of Reverend Frederick Boyce Moore Sr. Reverend Moore was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the fourth of 5 children to Tolly T. and Conway Moore. His early education was in the Tulsa Public Schools, Paul Lawrence Dunbar Elementary, George Washington Carver Junior High, and Booker T. Washington High School. Reverend Moore received his college training from Central State College of Wilberforce, Ohio, now covetedly known as Central State University. He graduated with a BS degree in secondary education. His seminary work was done at Gammon Theological Seminary of the Interdenominational Theological Center in Atlanta, Georgia, where he graduated with a master's degree of divinity degree. After completing undergraduate degree work, he served 2 years in the United States Army in France and Germany. Before attending seminary and being ordained an elder in the United Methodist Church, Reverend Moore taught school in the Detroit public school system for 8.5 years. He was an industrial arts teacher, certified in special education. Prior to this, he worked in production at Chrysler Motor Company. Reverend Moore has pastored John Wesley United Methodist Church of River Rouge, being appointed in 1976. He was appointed to the People's United Methodist Church in March of 1981. He served St. John United Methodist Church in Pontiac, being appointed June 16, 1992, where he served there for more than 16 years before retiring on June 30, 2008. He also worked for 21 years as a part-time chaplain at St. Joseph Mercy Hospital. Reverend Moore has served on both district and conference committees, the Division of Evangelism, Outdoor Education, and as the District Secretary for Evangelism. He has served on the task force for the Bible Church, the Capital Funds Campaign Committee, and served in the East District Board of Ordained Ministry, the Detroit Conference Board of Global Ministry, the Metropolitan Detroit Black United Methodist Youth Scholarship Fund Committee, and sung with the Black Methodist for Church Renewal Mass Choir. Reverend Moore is married to the former Dolores L. McBee of Detroit. They are the proud parents of 3 adult children, Miss Cheryl L. Moore, Frederick D. Moore Jr., and Miss Calais Marie Moore Quinonius. Since coming to Pontiac in 1992, Reverend Moore co-chaired the Pontiac Task Force to Prevent Youth Violence, served on the board of the Pontiac Anti-Youth Violence Partnership, the Pontiac School Community Collaborative, as chairman and as a member of the executive board of the Clinton Valley Council of the Pontiac Manitou District of the Boy Scouts of America. He also chaired the Pontiac Area Urban Scouting Committee. Reverend Moore has served on the advisory board of Healthy Start at St. Joseph Mercy Hospital, Oakland, and the advisory council and board of Child Abuse and Neglect Council of Oakland County. He is a past member of the Oakland County Multicultural Health Council and was a member of the Infant Mortality Task Force of Oakland County. He serves on the Pontiac Youth Advisory Board and is a member of the Oakland County Ministerial Fellowship. Reverend Moore was elected to the Executive Committee of the North Oakland County branch of the NAACP. He serves as the Religious Activities Coordinator and the First Vice President, respectively. Reverend Moore is a lover of people. he sees that his mission in the life is to glorify God in the life he lives to the end, so that souls might absolutely be saved. He loves to preach, teach, live the word of Lord's praise. God being his helper and strength, he seeks to follow in the way of Christ Jesus, doing all in his name. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, one incredible legacy of service. I ask that you please put your hands together and join me as we welcome to this computer screen the legendary, the incomparable Reverend Pastor Moore. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for a true Pontiac Trailblazer and legend. Take it away, Reverend Moore.
Well, I want to just first say it's really a joy to be here, and I'm really honored to be receiving an award from Ascend Foundation, and I just thank God for this opportunity. It's been a blessed life that I've lived, and I want to thank God for all the blessings and the situations I found myself in, because God has always been there present. I came to in 1992, I came to Pontiac, and I was busy from that day on, really. St. John United Methodist Church as pastor, the NAACP, being a part of the Pontiac Youth Assistance. That's been some years now. I didn't realize how long it has been. But we are thankful to come out of the family court and being able to help a lot of young people and help families to find their way. When the children getting lost through the cracks, we're able to save some of them. And so we're just thankful for that opportunity. I'm just thankful that I've had the foresight and the opportunity to do so many different things that I can give of myself in some special ways, and to be honored in such a way today by Brother Phillips and the Ascend Foundation. I just really think it's a wonderful thing for them. And I'm not that big on these awards, if you will, but if they come and give it to me, I'll take it. God bless you. And Lord be with you as you continue to work and go forth. I think you all are doing a fine job, a fine work here as you're making your contributions to the city of Pontiac. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with the greatest honor and privilege that I ask that you please put your hands together one more time for your approval for the incredible Reverend Fred Moore, a true Pontiac legend. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. But next, when you hear the word legendary, this right here, that word falls short when it comes to this man we're about to bring across your computer screen this evening. I'm speaking about none other than the one, the only, Pastor Roger Jackson. Pastor Jackson was raised in Quincy, Pennsylvania, as he relocated to Pontiac, Michigan in his younger years. As a young man, he served proudly in the United States Marine Corps and returned to Pontiac to work within the automotive industry. In 1999, Pastor Jackson retired from the auto industry and began his true career calling with the Lord. He graduated from Golden Gate Theological Seminary and served his church in many capacities until he accepted pastoral responsibility at Greater Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Church in October of 2005. Pastor Jackson served as president of the Congress of Christian Education with the Crystal Lake Missionary Baptist Church District for 2 years, working also on Transportation Committee with the National Baptist Congress of Christian Education. He is also heavily involved in the Oakland County Ministerial Fellowship, where he began as treasurer, then served as program chair, and eventually as president of the Oakland County Ministerial Fellowship for 4 years. Throughout his pastoral career, he served his community in many capacities. He assisted in the election of the mayor of Pontiac and served on her transition team. He rallied the community, leading them in a march to stop violence. And he even worked in an organization that gave counseling and health insurance to children which were coming from incarcerated parents. One of life's most fulfilling accomplishments are the soul that he led to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. Pastor Jackson loved and worked tirelessly in helping others whose life was consumed with drugs and alcohol addictions to come to believe that it is the power of God that enables us to live one day at a time. Along with the many organizations that bring joy to one's life, his introduction to Lionel Jordan and the Midnight Golf Program by Miss Ruth Ann Jordan inspired him to start a scholarship program in the name of his lifelong friend and Greater Mount Calvary Church, his Mr. HB, Henry Baldwin Scholarship Fund. Pastor Jackson is one of the few who have been invited to the opening prayer for the House of Representatives, not just once, but twice. Once for the Republicans and once for the Democrats in 2011 and once again in 2017. Pastor and First Lady Jackson are thankful and appreciative for the opportunity that they have to serve the Lord with the rest of the great Mount Calvary Church family. Pastor Jackson is his 13th year as pastor of one of God's greatest gifts to the east side of Pontiac, the Greater Mount Calvary MBC Church. Stepped down as pastor on the 30th day of September in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, as you see the legacy of this great man, I ask that you put your hands together one more time for your approval for the life and legacy of Mr. Roger Jackson, a true Pontiac legend. Put your hands together for Reverend Roger Jackson.
First of all, let me say thank you, Brother Phillips, for all that you do for this community. You definitely have made an impact, not only in my life, but in the lives of people here in Pontiac. For those of you who don't know, I came to Pontiac at a very young age. And then I decided to make Pontiac my home. And as long as I've been in Pontiac, I was able to meet my wife here. My children are born here. My grandchildren are born here. Pontiac have always been dear to my heart. I'm thankful to God for those who suggested my name in order to receive this award. I feel extremely humble in receiving it. For some reason, I don't feel that I deserve it because I don't do things in order to be paid or to be recognized. I do them because I love this community and I want the best for it. Like your father did when he was mayor and representative, Brother Phillips. He came here and had a love for the people here. I do have a love for the people here in Pontiac. I have served here. One of the things that I'm excited about is the names that are on this reward. Pastor Eddie McDonald and Pastor Elam. Now, people can say what they want to say, but those were some true trailblazers here. And the reason I'm excited about it is because of what Mr. Quincy Stewart said to me about the importance of the church. If there's going to be anything and what the part the church have played down through the years, if there's going to be any change in Pontiac, I have been trying as hard as I can for the church to move back to where it was when these gentlemen served here. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those who suggested me. I really don't have much to say. I'm just honored and humbled by this award. Thank you again, Brother Phillips, for what you do here. And to all those who received this award, I am humbled to be counted among y'all. Thank you. God bless you, and make sure. Enjoy Black History Month, because February is just not enough time to celebrate our history. So thank you. God bless you all. And the struggle still continue, Pontiac, in order for us to get where we need to be. Thank you again.
Pontiac, you see why I'm so excited this evening as I sit on this camera? This is what it's all about. This is us preserving Pontiac history and celebrating legacy. And the man that just came across this screen should make every last one of you smile. This is what we have walking around the walls of Pontiac right now. So I ask that all of you please put your hands together one more time for the life and legacy of Reverend Roger Jackson, a true Pontiac legend. Please put your hands together. But next, I would be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to go ahead and bring this computer screen someone who has absolutely been historic for the county that we live in called Oakland. But not only for a person that's fighting for us in the walls of Pontiac, but someone who's extended his duties beyond, Pontiac into every city within the walls of Oakland County. And he's been doing it with a zest and a fire that is second to none. I'm speaking about someone who I call a personal friend, but somebody who I know is going to get it done. And he's going to go keep fighting his butt off to make sure Pontiac is going to be good. That being said, Pontiac, I ask that you please do me a favor and help me welcome our Oakland County Executive, Mr. Dave Colter, to the computer screen. Thank you so much, Executive Colter, and please take it away.
So thank you to Keynote and the Ascend Foundation for inviting me back to the annual Pontiac Legends and Trailblazers Award. I'm excited to be here to acknowledge the work that Ascend Foundation is doing to lift up and honor Black history and voices. Please join me in congratulating all the award recipients and honorees. Their hard work, dedication, and commitment to service in Pontiac and throughout their communities is inspiring. These legends and trailblazers we recognize tonight leaned into the work to move Pontiac and their communities forward during one of our most challenging times. None of them shied away from rolling up their sleeves and doing the work that needed to be done during the COVID-19 pandemic. My vision for Oakland County is to be in all ways moving forward. That means a relentless pursuit of what elevates Oakland County and all residents. The Ascend Foundation's honorees exemplify what it means to be always moving forward. I'm grateful to Keynote and the Ascend Foundation for celebrating these legends, their love of neighbors, their commitment to service. Do not stop in all ways moving Pontiac and Oakland County forward. Thanks so much.
To Executive Colter, thank you so much for your words of encouragement, but more importantly than that, understanding the importance of why we're doing events like this evening and why we're celebrating and making sure that our history is going to be preserved here in the community of Pontiac. Thank you so much for that, sir. The next award going out to our honorees is for the field of athletics. This is something that we wanted to go ahead and add this year. We felt like we were doing so much with the original 5 categories that this year we wanted to go ahead and make sure we put something in that was going to commemorate some of the dynamic athletes that have done some sensational things on a worldwide scale and also within the walls of the Pontiac community. So that's why we're about to present to you the award recipients of the Percy McConnor Cy Green Athletic Trailblazer Award. The legendary planet-moving Percy McConnor was an outstanding fast-pitch softball player whose career began in 1938 in the city of Pontiac with a team called West Joy Shop. His career spanned the next 21 years playing with 9 different teams from Detroit, Lansing, Flint, Toronto, and Pontiac. He played on such teams as the Wizards, Tip Tops, Shaw's Jewelers, and more famously, the Joe Louis Bombers. One of McConnor's most treasured moments occurred in 1950 in Austin, Texas, while he was playing with the Toronto Tip Tops. It was then that he pitched the first perfect game in ASA National Tournament history. McConnor successfully retired 21 batters while his teammates struggled through a 1-0 victory. Prior to his tremendous, legendary softball career, he played in the Negro League, where he was a standout player. It was here that he started building his reputation as a fierce competitor. Before that, he was a Golden Gloves boxer that was known for putting people on their backs with his fighting ability and natural athletic gifts. By 1965, Mr. McConnor retired from the game of softball as a player, but his contributions to the game continued as a coach until 1976. In the spring of 1982, the city of Pontiac gave Percy its highest honor in resolution form and with its newest lighted field facility named and dedicated in his honor. It was at this time that the Percy McConnor Field was born at Aaron Perry Park. Over 100,000 kids have learned to play or went to battle on that field. Percy E. McConnor was a City of Pontiac's employee for 26 years, and he became an outstanding volunteer and fighter for senior citizens and their rights. He was also on hand each softball season to present the championship award to teams on his field. Mr. McConnor became the first African-American softball player to be named to the ASA National Hall of Fame, shortly followed by his friend and teammate and brother-in-arms, the late Charles Justice, an absolute legend within himself. They were both also inducted into the Michigan ASA Hall of Fame. That is absolute something that is beyond a glorious achievement. What made this so special is the fact that African Americans and Latinos were repeatedly being overlooked to be included in that pantheon of greats. Truly, 2 champions in the arena of fast-pitch softball, we finally saw justice take place. Talking about legendary, his running crew and circles of brothers were the legendary Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, and Coleman Young. They were the best of friends, and you know that there was much stuff being talked at that table. Ladies and gentlemen, Please join me in the celebration of life and legacy of the one, the only, legendary Mr. Percy McConnor, a true Pontiac legend. Next we have the immeasurable, incomparable Coach Robert Cy Green. Coach Green was known as a legendary competitor when he actually played athletics, doing that through the NBA as a professional basketball player. But not only that, a lot of people don't understand exactly how dynamic he was even on the softball field. From the time that he was imported up here from Tennessee, did he make his presence count. He did this by touching the lives of so many different children, not only from a classroom standpoint, as he was also known as one of the most dynamic educators that the city has seen as well. But beyond that, taking his mentorship, by using his athletic gifts to be able to pull children in, put them up underneath his umbrella, give them and show them a better way of life that was going to go ahead and provide a dynamic living for themselves as well as their families or future families to come. He did this by making sure that every student that came into his classroom was going to go ahead and reach their greatness. Not only as student athletes, no. If you walked into that class, you better make sure that you came ready to give the very best that you had to go ahead and give, because he knew what was in stake for you. He knew life was waiting for you at the point of graduation. And so you had to be prepared, and there was no way he was going to let you go ahead and fail on his watch. He was also that mentor that stepped into the gap of a lot of kids who needed a father figure. And so when we say need a father figure, he treated you just as such. Whether you had a father in the household or whether you didn't, he's that one that's going to go and have you hemmed up in the hallway if he heard or found out you did something you had no business doing. If you were going to do something destructive inside of this thing that we call life, he was going to make sure he let you know about it, and you were going to go ahead and get it corrected, because this is the type of man that he was. He gave absolute greatness to everybody around him because he was the walking personification of the word greatness. And it was that same greatness that he took over into the basketball court by going against other legendary Hall of Fame caliber coaches like Pontiac Central's Ralph Grubb and also Clarkson's Dan Fife. It was because of these wars that he was able to go ahead and forge this dynamic inside of the heart and souls and DNA of his students as well as his athletes, to go ahead and help them to push away mediocrity, to make sure that their presence is going to go ahead and count. But to go ahead and push this further, he decided, I need to go ahead and make sure when summertime hits, there was going to be something that was going to be in place to go ahead and help kids hone their skills when it came to basketball, but also too to give them something that was going to be a component to find the type of guidance that they needed for life. And so he did that by getting together with Bill Glover and Kenny Core and creating the Village Basketball Camp, which still stands to this day. And we're talking about, this is over 30 years ago. This is what it's all about. That's how you create a legacy. But it was in 1996 when he actually transitioned on that this actual community was rocked to its core. And from that, the best way to go ahead and commemorate this man's life and legacy was to actually dedicate a gymnasium in his name. The gymnasium that basically he built. We call it the gym that Cy built. I'm talking about Pontiac Northern, but now Pontiac High School's gymnasium, named so covetedly the Cy Green Gymnasium, where so many children, hundreds of children, have come into that gymnasium trying to go ahead and find exactly where their gifts are going to go ahead and take them, where their purpose is going to go ahead and land them. That's how you go ahead and create a legacy, something that's going to go ahead and last far beyond our existence. And that is what Coach Green did. And that is what Coach Green means to this community. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with the greatest honor and privilege that I ask that you please join me in honoring the legacy and life of Coach Robert Cy Green, a true Pontiac legend. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's all about. Talking about the reason why you should be excited. We are celebrating absolute Pontiac history. And if we can't get excited about celebrating our own history, I don't know what to go ahead and say. But that being said, we're not going to go ahead and disappoint you this evening. So when we talk about history, this next individual, when you want to hear the word legend, this man is the personification of that word. I'm speaking about the past heavyweight champion of the world, Pinklin Thomas. Pinklin Thomas was a world WBC and IO heavyweight boxing champion. Pinklin Thomas has been a warrior, a fighter, and a role model for disadvantaged and troubled youth for decades. Because of his earlier choices as a young teen, he established his own nonprofit organization, Project Pink Pride, and Neighborhood Kids. Pinklin fought and defeated some of the very best heavyweight fighters in the world, though his toughest fight has always been against the tribulations that plague our society through drugs and alcohol. Pink, as he is affectionately known, travels to various events, company functions, and any gatherings where he can convey the dangers and traps of drug and alcohol addiction, as he himself was stricken with the disease at the early age of 8. Surprisingly, he was a phenomenal athlete in football, basketball, and track. He inevitably chose a career path in boxing where the odds of financial success were better in a one-man sport. Today, he is also an advocate for nonviolence and anti-crime, as he knows firsthand this lifestyle can quickly take youth down the wrong road. Pinklin will be the first to tell you, only by the grace of God, that he was saved from two inevitable ends, the penitentiary or the cemetery. Pinklin competed from 1978 to 1993 and turned professional after just 3 amateur fights. By 1984, with a record of 24-0-1, he would be afforded the opportunity for his first world title shot against the reigning WBC champ, terrible Tim Witherspoon, winning a 12-round majority decision. He would later meet and establish a friendship with his idol, the legendary Muhammad Ali, at the 5th Street Gym in Miami, Florida. Pinklin held the WBC heavyweight title from 1984 to 1986. On June 15, 1985, he successfully defended his WBC title by KO over the former WBA World Heavyweight Champion, Mike Weaver. On March 22, 1986, he suffered his first career loss, as well as losing the WBC World title to Trevor Burbick. Pinklin then went in and out of retirement over the following years, still taking fights against top contenders like WBC and WBA World Champion Mike Tyson, which was the only man to knock Pinklin Thomas down in his lengthy career, and Evander the Real Deal Holyfield. Pinklin later came back in 1990 to his hometown of Pontiac, Michigan, to fight the Silverdome, to fight the hard-hitting Curtis Isaac, who Pink outpunched in a memorable 10-round battle. In the spring of 1991, after delivering an impactful motivational speech at a residential drug treatment program, Pink is approached by Antonio Tarver, a troubled youth with substantial athletic ability. Ultimately, they discovered they had so much in common that the two would eventually form a lifelong friendship. Pink began to mentor, provide guidance, train, and work out with Tarver, who would go on to become the WBA, WBC, and IBF heavyweight world champion, and the IBO light heavyweight and cruiserweight champion, and eventually Olympic bronze medalist. In November of 1992, Pinklin came back to win the IBO heavyweight championship. He held the title from 1992 to 1993. 1993, Pinklin had the last professional fight of his career, losing to Lawrence Carter to what appeared to be a 7th-round KO. And it was later determined he suffered a pre-existing subdural hematoma, unbeknownst to him and anyone. His wife then gave him only one option: retirement, and he humbly accepted. In 1997, Pinklin was diagnosed with hepatitis C due to his previous drug use as a teen. Unbeknownst to anyone, he had remained dormant for over 20 years, resulting in a liver diagnosis giving him only 6 months to live. After 2 years of marginally successful medical treatments, he was finally cured in a period of only 3 weeks by taking Havani. His medical records show him conquering cancer, suffering a broken neck, having 15 major surgeries, including a life-threatening procedure on his thoracic spine. He spent 31 days in the hospital, 5 in ICU, and several months in rehabilitation. His wife DJ, always by his side, says, "It is only by the grace of God he is still with us today." Today, Pinklin resides in Orlando, Florida, and was inducted into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame in 2009. And in 2019, he was inducted into the Space Coastal Sports Hall of Fame in Melbourne, Florida. Most recently, on April 24, 2022, he was inducted into the National Boxing Hall of Fame in Montebello, California. Pink also, with John Greenberg, published his autobiography, Back from the Edge of Hell. Pink now is an avid motivational speaker and strongly believes in giving back and helping others, knowing that investing in youth is an investment in our future. As a spin-off from his book, he is in the process of filming segments of his first documentary and working with a script writer to produce for his upcoming television miniseries in association with Digital One Media Services and Dreamtime Entertainment. He continues to be influential in his area, such as providing feedback for startups, drug rehabilitation facilities, and offers his unique insight on how to best communicate with addicts. He enjoys traveling, spending time with his beautiful wife DJ and his 3 daughters, Paquana, Peyton, and Piera. He also has 1 son, Pinklin Thomas III. He has 6 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. Pink continues to mentor both youth and adults who benefit from his own life experiences. He also continues to train aspiring pro boxers and amateur talents as well. On February 10th, Pinklin Thomas celebrated not only his birthday, but 34 years of sobriety. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please put your hands together and give the biggest round of applause humanly imaginable for your approval to the one, the only, former heavyweight champion of the world, Pinklin Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together one more time and welcome Mr. Thomas as he takes the computer screen. Take it away, champ.
Kano, I want to thank you for that phenomenal introduction. Extend Foundation's Annual Legends and Trailblazers Black History event. I am honored to be recognized and humbly accept the Percy McConnor and the Cy Green Athletic Award. Pontiac is a phenomenal city that I grew up in and have the most respect for. This is something that I wanted to do. I'm so glad that it's come together. I was just there a couple of weeks ago as I seen the mayor, Tim Grimo, and I want to give honor and respect to the guy who taught me how to be an athlete, Bobby Kaiser, who's passed now. Also, a great man who I respected was Albert Hatchett, who's also gone. There are so many more that I could talk about, but I can't. I've moved on to become the heavyweight champion of the world. And I want my efforts and my time to give back to the kids of the community. Last but not least, I want to let you know that I'm 34 years clean in recovery from substance abuse, and that's what I do now. And I give counseling and direction to the youth of the city, of the world. I thank you so much again.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just heard from the former heavyweight champion of the world. And that's right, Pontiac, he's ours. So I ask that you please put your hands together one more time for the incredible Pinklin Thomas, a true Pontiac legend. Put your hands together, everyone. But now, this next award going out to our honorees is named after 2 absolute legends in the educational field. I'm speaking about none other than Miss Joanne Battle and Miss Elois Williams Esquire. Miss Joanne Battle was born in Huntsville, Alabama, and she departed this earth on June 28, 2011. She matriculated to Tuskegee University Institute, which is a historical HBCU, and she graduated with a degree in secondary education. She later earned a master's degree from the University of Michigan in 1970. It was in that same year she was offered a teaching position at Pontiac School District, where she began a 39-year tenure, which included 32 as an English teacher, 3 as an assistant principal, and 4 as a principal, 38 of which were spent at her beloved Pontiac Northern High School. Over the years, Miss Battle received honors too numerous to list in detail. However, some of them included Oakland County, awards from Oakland County, the city of Pontiac, Pontiac School District, and also the state of Michigan. She also received awards from the Boy Scouts of America. She also joined a multitude of organizations and entities as well. Entities such as becoming a member of Welcome Missionary Baptist Church, She joined the Queens of Sheba, Chapter 15, the Order of Eastern Stars, the phenomenal Red Hatters, and she became a lifetime member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Miss Battle's legendary legacy in the field of education and the community of Pontiac stands unrivaled. It is with the greatest honor that I ask you to please put your hands together for a true Pontiac legend, Mrs. Joanne Battle. Next we have the incredible Miss Lois Williams, Esquire, who was born on November the 11th, 1953. Miss Williams spent her primary and secondary education in Pontiac School District, in which she received her diploma from Pontiac Central High School. Miss Williams went on to attend the University of Michigan, where she received her bachelor's degree in political science in 1975. She then went on to receive her Juris Doctorate degree from Wayne State University in 1978. Miss Williams became the first African-American female lawyer from Pontiac, Michigan. She practiced law at several law firms and worked with several noteworthy attorneys such as Darrell Mitchell, the legendary Elbert Hatchett, Cyril Hall, and her longtime friend Lisa C. Watkins. After practicing law for 21 years, Miss Williams decided that it was time to walk in her purpose, and so she went back and obtained another degree, a master's degree in education. From there, she went and pushed herself right into the Pontiac School District, where she started Pontiac's first civics program. And it's because of her right now that Pontiac has this civics program, teaching the power of the political process and educating children, making sure they understand what their purpose could be and the value that they have in looking to pursue some of these political positions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is legendary individuals like this that make Pontiac what it is. And so I ask that you put your hands together one more time for the legacy of the incredible, incomparable attorney, Lois Williams, a true Pontiac legend. The first individual that I want to go ahead and present to you is one dynamic woman. I'm speaking about none other than the one, the only, Miss Serenia Dell Taborn. During the late summer of 1968, Miss Taborn was introduced to the Pontiac, Michigan School District to embrace a career in secondary education. She began her teaching career at Pontiac Northern High School, becoming one of the most affectionately prolific, memorable teachers in Pontiac Northern High School history. Throughout her teaching career, she incorporated her skills and unyielding passion upon several students and later retired in 2004 from the Pontiac School District. Before her retirement, she was involved faithfully with several different community school-based activities. In her legendary journey, she was the recipient of several awards and certificates. The most memorable of these awards are as follows. Pontiac School District Teacher of the Year, not once, but twice. Pontiac Northern Athletics Department Award of Excellence. The Coronation Activity Award for her involvement with the PEP Club, PEP Assembly activities, as well as her Vocational Education Award that came by her being department head for home economics and vocational. The Mighty Marching Huskies, Majorette Administrator for over 30 years, and that's just only to name a few. After relentlessly serving a rewarding and enjoyable 40-year career with the students of Pontiac and devoting colleagues of the Pontiac School District, she will always be known as the classy, but yet sassy lady with the long, fancy designed fingernails. She continues to show love for her community by staying active with her beloved sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Theta Lambda Omega Silver Star status, and enjoying time with her loving husband, Mr. Douglas Taborn, for over 50 years, who is also an absolute legend within his own rights. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please put your hands together one more time for your approval for the legendary Miss Serenia Dell Taborn, a true Pontiac legend. Take it away, Miss Taborn, and congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you. I want to thank ACES Foundation Committee for recognizing me as the Trailblazer for the year of 2023. I've enjoyed working with the students and faculty at Pontiac Northern High School, those mighty Huskies. I am also pleased today because I have a Husky here with me, Keynote. I am so proud of him. And all of you, I want the good Lord to continue to bless you. And the former students, I want you to know that you left me with some beautiful memories that I can always remember. And I'm saying to you, go Huskies.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I ask that you please put your hands together one more time for the legendary, incomparable Miss Serenia Dale Taborn, a true Pontiac legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. But next, we already hit you with Pontiac Northern, so it's only right that we go ahead and hit you with Pontiac Central, the other side of town. A side of town that my mother was educated at, but also was a teacher at. And this was one of her road dogs. This is one of those individuals that she rode hard with. And anytime you go ahead and heard Miss Phillips' name, you absolutely heard this other woman right here that I'm about to go ahead and bring to the computer. I'm talking about none other than the one and only, the amazing, incomparable Miss Dorothy Grant. Miss Grant is a native of Covington, Tennessee, who moved to Pontiac in her early 20s, and she never looked back. Miss Grant was educated in the public school system, in which she took her educational endeavors down to Tennessee State University. Upon graduation, she went on to obtain a master's degree in classroom teaching from Michigan State University. From that moment of graduation, she went on to take her extraordinary gift to educate and started her legendary career to increase the educational prowess on the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. In Pontiac, she served as the head of the social studies department at Pontiac Central, in which she taught U.S. history and government. Within that capacity, she received the coveted Pontiac PTA Teacher of the Year Award. Miss Grant, she prides herself on being a member of Trinity Missionary Baptist Church for 50 plus years, where she served and serves as a part of several ministries. She is also a member of Theta Lambda Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, in which she has reached golden soror status. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, with this incredible career of this magnificent woman, I ask that you please put your hands together one more time as we welcome to the screen the legendary Miss Dorothy Grant, a true Pontiac legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, and I want to say congratulations, Miss Grant. Take it away, ma'am.
First, thanks to Mr. Kano Phillips for nominating me to receive this award. Also, thanks to the Ascend Foundation for emphasizing the importance of Black history. They are to also be commended for their excellent and extensive work in the Pontiac community. I began my teaching career in 1967, and I thoroughly enjoyed my work and interaction with Pontiac's young people. Teaching was a joy, and I still am in contact with some of my former students. I am always pleased to hear about their families and careers. Having grown up believing that education was the pathway to a better and more productive life, I wanted each student to know that they could succeed and should strive for excellence. Mediocrity should never be accepted. Again, I would like to thank the Ascend Foundation for this honor. Your commitment to community service is much needed and greatly appreciated. We should be grateful to all who have been activists in the community and should never forget their contributions. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from absolute greatness. I need you to go ahead and do me a favor. Please put your hands together one more time for one of the most incredible educators that this community has ever seen. And you just saw two of them this evening. I need you to put your hands together one more time for your approval for the legendary Miss Dorothy Grant, a true Pontiac legend. Put your hands together, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, this next award going out to our honoree is named after one absolute political trailblazing powerhouse who set the tempo of politics in this community of Pontiac. I'm talking about the man none other than Charlie J. Harrison Jr. He was the first individual to go ahead and go to the State House to go ahead and hold multiple terms before we got to term limitations. And I believe he was up there for 18 years in that position until finally he decided to go ahead and come home after meeting term limits to become the first individual to come from the State House back to the community of Pontiac to become mayor of the great city of Pontiac until before he ended up meeting his untimely demise. But through all of his travels, this man impacted this community and the state of Michigan like none other. He did it through a multitude of organizations. Organizations like the Oakland County Branch NAACP, the 100 Club, Oakland County Democratic Committee, the Pontiac Area Urban League, Clinton Valley Center Advisory Committee, Boy Scouts of America in Oakland County, Society of African American Police, Oakland County Human Resources Committee, New Life Committee to Fight Drug Abuse, and also Oakland County Coalition for Welfare Rights. And it's a multitude of other things. I'm talking about this list stems on to about another 100 organizations that this man impacted through either a leadership capacity or from participation capacity. This is what we're talking about, Pontiac. These are the type of individuals that ran through our city for a multitude of years, and that's why tonight we take the opportunity to go ahead and honor their existence with naming these awards after them and also putting these awards in the hands of people that are worthy to go ahead and hold that mantle up. So ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please put your hands together one more time for the legacy of Charlie J. Harrison Jr., a true Pontiac legend. Pontiac has been historically known for some dynamic hitters when it comes to this category. But the two individuals we picked tonight is absolutely sensational choices. But let's get into this first one. This first one comes from one of the most legendary families that ever walked through this community. And matter of fact, it's so legendary that one of the actual awards that we are actually presenting tonight is named after his father. I am speaking about none other than the one, the only, Mr. Eddie F. McDonald. Mr. Eddie McDonald serves as the president and CEO of EFM and Associates. He is a lifelong public servant and a powerhouse known political consultant at the local, county, state, and national levels. During his 40 years of public and community service, he served under former Congressman Bob Carr, former Wayne County Executive Edward McNamara, and Robert Ficano, and as the Director of Executive Affairs for the Detroit Mayor's Office and liaison to the Detroit City Council. He is a proven winner of campaigns large and small, having worked or led more than 36 efforts, including most recently serving as Senior Advisor for the successful One Campaign for Michigan 2022. Michigan Senior Advisor for the Biden-Harris 2020 presidential campaign, Chair of the 2018 One Campaign for Michigan, where the parties returned the governmentship, the Secretary of State's office, the Michigan Attorney General's office to Democratic control. His other works include, but is not limited to, campaign manager for Wayne County Sheriff Raphael Washington and Benny Napoleon. All of U.S. Secretary of Energy Jennifer M. Granholm's bids, where she was elected 3 times for statewide offices as governor and attorney general, respectively. Leading the get out the vote efforts for former President Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. Campaign manager for Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick and Dave Bing, and earning victories for several county or statewide ballot proposals, including the 2012 and 2020 passage of millages to support the Detroit Institute of Arts. McDonald is a 4-time delegate to the Democratic National Convention. He currently serves as advisor of African American outreach for the Michigan Democratic Party. McDonald has led EFM and Associates for the past 14 years. Ladies and gentlemen, this is who you have walking through the community of Pontiac. This is who's out in the world representing us. I need you to do me a huge favor and put your hands together one more time for the legendary Eddie McDonald, a true Pontiac legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and help me welcome Mr. McDonald to your computer screen this evening. Take it away, Mr. McDonald, and congratulations, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Kano, and thank the members of the Ascend Foundation for this great honor. And thinking about my lifetime here in Pontiac, growing up here in Pontiac, raised here in Pontiac, me and politics, we go hand in hand, but I would be nothing without the folks that came before me. I got involved in Pontiac because of other legends, the William Watermans of the world, the Charlie Harrisons, the Walter Moores, the Clarence Phillips, the Hughes, not just Clarence, but also people like Emmett Elliott and people like Hubert Price, Mother, the great mother of Pontiac. When you talk about somebody like Marie Johnson, for instance, those people were there. But there are other people behind the scenes that folks may not remember. I do, and always will remember the Al Shaws and the Theophilus Northcross and the Cecilia Hollimans of the world. It's been a great, great, great upbringing. I learned a lot, and I take Pontiac with me wherever I go. And I've done campaigns locally, nationally, at the state level, at the county level, and it's always about what I learned here at home that made me successful in everything I did. And I thank you once again for this great honor.
Pontiac, I told you, when we were going to put a show together, we wanted to put one together and we wanted to go ahead and make it absolutely epic. And so that's what we're looking to go ahead and do this evening. And I told you, we plan not to go ahead and have any kind of disappointments coming across this computer screen. So to that point, you just saw what Pontiac greatness looks like. We're talking about a man who's been absolutely legendary, not only within the walls of this community, but also nationally as a whole. So it is with the greatest honor that I ask all of you to please join me one more time in putting your hands together for the one, the only, Mr. Eddie McDonald, a true Pontiac legend. Put your hands together, everyone. But next, when we start talking about legendary, it's always good when you find someone who can actually lay claim to the fact that they were the very first. The first one to go ahead and lay down the actual brickwork, to go ahead and show you what greatness should absolutely look like and to give a model of how it should be followed. That being said, it is with the greatest honor that I ask that you please put your hands together and join me in welcoming Council President Patrice Waterman, a true Pontiac legend. Patrice Waterman has devoted her life to public service. She was born and raised in Ohio. At an early age, she was taught the importance of family. Her mother, Miss Wilma Douglas, was a substitute teacher and worked for the automotive company industry, passionate about her daughter's pursuit of excellence. This mother-daughter bond was a major catalyst to the success she has achieved in life. At the age of 21, Councilperson Waterman relocated to the city of Pontiac and began working for the law firm of Waterman, Stanley, and Spinks. William Waterman, Esquire, her beloved uncle and legendary former judge for the 50th District Court, which the court is named after, served as a significant role model to Patrice as her career in law flourished for 6 years. Following the appointment of William Waterman to the 50th District Court, Councilperson Waterman refocused her career to municipal government, and in 1985 she accepted the position of legal assistant to Leo Bowman, Esquire. She became the first legislative auditor to the Pontiac City Council. She remained in the City Council office following his election to judge to the 50th District Court and later accepted the position of legislative administrator to the Pontiac City Council. She retired from the position in November of 2006. A proud community activist, Councilperson Waterman is a champion for change and believes strongly in serving her community. She worked with the Pontiac Community Schools Improvement Team, Sinking Fund Millage. She also co-chaired the Concerned Citizens Advisory Committee, and in April of 2009, she joined with the community volunteers to implement the Healthy Affairs Program, which serves citizens from all walks of life. One of the things she is most proud of is her activism that she displays as a very young lady in Pontiac that launched a petition campaign to push prostitution off the downtown Pontiac streets, and she made it happen. Councilperson Waterman is one of the original founding members of the Greater Oakland County Congress of Political Black Women. In 2002, she organized the first summit for political leaders in Oakland County, working cooperatively with Pontiac elected officials, the Pontiac School Board, Oakland County Executive L. Brooks Patterson, Oakland County Commissioners, and Michigan State Representatives. Councilperson Patrice Waterman was elected to the Pontiac City Council representing District 1 on November 3, 2009. She is an active member of the Michigan Democratic Party, the NAACP, and the world-renowned Golden Opportunity Club that you're going to find right on Bagley Street out of the Bowen Center. Ms. Waterman serves on the Board of Trustees for General Employees Retirement Board that oversees a budget of $500 million and a member of the Marketing Cause Committee, affiliate with the Michigan Legacy Credit Union, and the Campaign Committee for the Youth Recreational Millage. Councilperson Waterman is a devoted member of Welcome Missionary Baptist Church, and her abiding faith is first and foremost in her daily life. A firm believer in giving back, Patrice Waterman has served on the Pontiac City Council for 12 years. She was the president of Pontiac City Council for the last 4, becoming the very first woman to be named as president. She spearheaded many initiatives of the 8th and 9th councils. Her leadership was on display during the lean years when the city was controlled by an emergency manager. Patrice Waterman stepped up and called on citizens to be engaged. She has played a major role in the city of Pontiac's resurgence. Under her leadership, the Youth in Government program and the Pride and Beautification program were reinstated. President Waterman has never been afraid to make tough decisions and has always been an advocate for the citizens of Pontiac. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with the greatest honor that we put our hands together today to celebrate the life and legacy of the one, the only City Council President Emeritus, Miss Patrice Waterman, a true Pontiac legend. Take it away, Council President Emeritus, Miss Patrice Waterman.
Thank you so much, Kano, for that amazing introduction. I am deeply honored to receive this recognition, and thank you to citizens of Pontiac for allowing me the opportunity to represent and serve the city. I held myself to a high standard and believe that to whom much is given, much will be required. What an honor to be recognized during Black History Month, but I give honor to my beloved mother who loved me enough to bring me into this world and instilled in me a great work ethic. And my hero, my uncle, the late Honorable Judge William Waterman, who afforded me the opportunity to be the woman I am today. I am forever grateful and thank you to the Clarence E. Phillips Ascend Foundation for this honor.
Talking about legacy, ladies and gentlemen, some of the people that we've seen come across the screen today has forged their own rights into the pantheon of what we call Pontiac life. But you also have certain individuals that come across the screen that come from a very rich, long legacy of dynamic individuals inside of their households that have kind of given them the blueprint, and it was their job to take that baton and run to the hills with it. And that's what we have with this next individual here. Ladies and gentlemen, this next award going out to our honorees is named after an absolute trailblazing powerhouse in the field of activism. I'm speaking about none other than the Reverend Milton Henry, Esquire. Reverend Milton Henry passed away at the age of 87, but with his time on this earth, he served as a civil rights lawyer who sought to create a provisional government of former slave states. In the late 1960s, Reverend Henry sought for $200 million in reparations from the federal government to create a black country in Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Mississippi. He felt the need to do this because no matter how hard African Americans fought for freedom and equality, we were still unable to go ahead and be able to achieve that goal. So, and it's because of these fights and plights, he found himself, his life, and his family in danger on a regular basis. So bad that for over a year, they had to actually set up a wall, a barrier of African American men and Caucasian men who actually band together to go ahead and sit outside of his house for a year's time to make sure that he and his family stayed safe because of threats coming from the Ku Klux Klan. And this was right here in Michigan, I might add too, Pontiac. But beyond that, for him to go ahead and get this status, he ended up taking his education down to the legendary HBCU, Lincoln University, where he graduated in 1947, and he also became a member of the historical African American fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, which also serves as my fraternity as well. But he went on to earn his law degree from Yale University in 1950. He was a Pontiac commissioner from 1954 to 1960, and was a member of the Tuskegee Airmen during the World War II period. And he served with the late Coleman Young, which also served as the first mayor, black African American mayor of Detroit. It was because of his fights, his battle, and his plights that he ended up becoming really good friends with the legendary, incomparable Malcolm X, where ultimately he served as a pallbearer at his funeral. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to please put your hands together for the legendary and the incomparable Reverend Milton Henry Jr., a true Pontiac legend. When I think about this gentleman, I mean, Wow, that's all I can say. This is a man, you want to talk about grassroots? Grassroots is when you got people that stop talking all the time and roll up their sleeves and really go ahead and get to it. And that's what this gentleman has been able to go ahead and do when it comes to affecting the lives of children and senior citizens, especially children. I'm speaking about none other than the one, the only, legendary Donald Duck McConnor, a true Pontiac legend. Donald Duck McConnor is that individual that you're going to go ahead and see at all the games. He's that one you're going to go and see at all these different fields, whether it be basketball, football, or baseball, coaching, providing guidance for kids that are lost. Kids that are out here in the streets just trying to find their way, trying to go ahead and forge their path in life, something that's going to make them successful, something that's going to go ahead and make them an impactful part of their community. And that's what this man has been able to go ahead and give. He gives his heart, his body, and his soul to make sure our kids are going to be good. And when he takes that power and that energy of his, he likes to carry that over also to the adult side. Because one thing we know about Mr. Donald Duck McConnor is when it comes to being an athlete, he was a sensational athlete. And all he did was just take those skills and attributes that he picked up along the way and pass those down to all of us kids out here. He's touched so many of us. But when you start talking about giving someone an athletic gift and giving them fundamentals, that's one side of it. But the other side of it is when you have this thing inside of you that says, you know what? I need this kid to go ahead and be right, and I need him to be great. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to go ahead and do. He might be finding some trouble out in these streets. I'm going to pull him in. I'm going to make him move in with me so I can go ahead and make sure I keep him on the straight and narrow. And I'm also giving him these valuable life lessons so that he can be something sensational in this world. And that's what this man has been able to go ahead and do. When we talk about family lineage and legacy, hey, one of the awards that we named tonight is actually named after his father, the very great dynamic Percy McConnor. So it takes a dynamic family member to know another dynamic family member. So ladies and gentlemen, it is with the greatest privilege and honor that I ask that you please put your hands together one more time for the remarkable, sensational Mr. Duck McConnor, a true Pontiac legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Take it away, Mr. McConnor.
I grew up playing ball, so I organized most of the games and most of the teams because we always had recreation, baseball in the summer, basketball in the winter, and football in the fall. So I basically was the coach at my young age of all those teams, and that's how I started. Basically because of my father, but to organize the guys to play baseball, we played baseball first, then basketball, then football. But we just had a good times, and and Pontiac really done changed because we used to have we had one of the best recreation program for kids, basketball, baseball, and now we don't have that no more. But that was our backbone, and that's it.
Pontiac, when I say I am loving life right now. This is what it's all about. You see, we have so many people that are out here in this world making historic moves on a lot of different scales, but it's those grassroots warriors. It's those individuals that's going to be willing to weave into these cracks and crevices to make sure people are going to be good. And you just got a chance to go and see one of the best to ever do it. And I'm talking about none other than the one, the only, and I ask you to put your hands together one more time for him. Mr. Duck McConnor, a true Pontiac legend. Put your hands together. But next, when I say last but certainly not least, I'm about to bring to you an absolute giant. I'm about to bring somebody to you who has been sensational when it comes to the art of giving back. This is someone who does it unapologetically, and he's relentless with it. These are the type of people that you need in your world. These are the ones that go ahead and affect absolute change in your community. So with that being said, it is with the greatest honor that I ask that you please put your hands together and give the biggest Pontiac welcome that you can muster up for the one, the only, Mr. Irvin Walker, a true Pontiac legend. Mr. Irvin Walker is a lifelong resident of Pontiac. He has always been a hard worker and has been volunteering most of his adult life. Irvin first started his volunteerism for his son's football and basketball teams, the Pontiac Panthers and the Cobras. Little did we know how deep this was going to take him. He worked the concession stand for the Pontiac Panthers to help raise money for kids' registration, travel, uniforms, and equipment fees. Irvin's volunteerism has pushed him into a legendary support pattern with many community groups, including Pontiac Universal Crimes with Raheem Harris, 180 Church in Detroit, Pastor Lorenzo and Molly Sewell, Identify Your Dreams Foundation, Mr. Leah Sharp, and Family Readiness at Selfridge A&G Base in full-blown, unyielding support for veteran initiatives. New Mount Moriah Food Giveaway Blitz, and unyielding support to our homeless population by continuously providing prepared meals to the Baldwin Center's homeless shelter. Irvin was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, stomach cancer, in 2019. He completed chemotherapy and radiation treatments and still to this day continues to volunteer for this community. By the grace of God, in November 2022, Irvin was notified that he was cancer-free. This is the reason why we should have no excuses when it comes to giving back. This man is the prototype of what a warrior for change should look like. Nothing is going to stop this man from emptying his heart, body, and soul into this Pontiac community. Irvin Walker and Walker's Traveling Barbecue stand ready to take 2023 by storm, better than ever before. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with the greatest honor that I ask that you please put your hands together and let's welcome the legendary Trailblazer himself, Mr. Irvin Walker, a true Pontiac legend. Take it away, Mr. Walker, and congratulations, sir.
Yes, I just want to thank you for selecting me as this award. And, you know, I'm humble about it. First and foremost, I want to just thank God for giving me the strength to go out there and serve the community, do what I do. You know, hey, feeding the kids, feeding the homeless. You know, main thing, making sure our community is fed. You know, they said take a village to feed everybody, and we need everybody to feed everybody, to help everybody. You know, I'm real humble today receiving this award. I wasn't looking or planning on this award, but I do stuff from the heart. You know, a little bit about me. This started way back in the day when the Tri-County Cobras and the Panthers, you know, kids couldn't play on the team, they couldn't eat. So I go out there, raise money where they can pay their fees to get on the team, have something to eat, travel with them. Because a lot of times kids wouldn't tell you they didn't have no money, they wasn't hungry. And they wanted, you know, if they're on the team, they want to travel. But if they didn't have no money to travel, what part of the team? So I just went out there and raised money. And that's how everything got started. You know, just feeding the community, feeding the senior citizen, feeding the homeless, you know, just feeding anybody who need a meal. I'm not going to say homeless, I'm going to say the person. You know, because, hey, sometimes we all might be one step away from that person. So we ain't gonna say homeless. We're gonna say a person that was in need at the moment. You follow me? And everything. And I just want to just thank everybody. And I just want to thank Kano and his organization for selecting me. And you know, it ain't about being picked for an award or about doing this. You got to do it from the heart. It comes from the heart. And this where I do my thing. I do it for the heart, for the love of the community of Pontiac. I'm a long-time resident of Pontiac. I went to the old Pontiac Central. I went to the new Pontiac Central and everything. Hey, I was the first 9th grader that played varsity football in the state of Michigan with Charlie Robert Mitchell. That's when we was going up to the new school, Pontiac Central. You know, I'm a PC chief, you know, but anyway, make a long story short, I just want to serve the community. I just want to thank the community and keep serving the community and everything, you know. At one point, I had stage 4 cancer, you know, stage cancer. And it stopped me for a while. Then the doctor told me, hey, I'm all right. I rung the bell. I went through radiation, chemo. I rung the bell and they called me, say I'm cancer free. I hit the ground running, serving the community again. Doing what I do best, doing what I love doing, serving the community. And I just want to thank you guys, and thank you guys for giving me this, and I'm very, very humble.
To the community of Pontiac, I need you to understand what you just saw here this evening. I'm talking about all of you that are sitting out here in Facebook land and in YouTube. You just saw the best of the best, the creme de la creme. We're talking about the class of 2023, and it is one sensational class. We're talking about history, legacy. You talking about true trailblazers, the one that burnt trails for individuals like myself. These are all people that I look up and admire. I mean, I am astonished by the way that they've sat up there and made their life count for something so much more than just themselves. And it's because of them, they showed me the blueprint on how I'm supposed to go ahead and move. And so that's why I make it a point to fight with every fiber of my being to make sure I keep our ancestors proud. The ones that are no longer here, that are looking down on us, and the ones that we just sat, or individuals like the ones that we just sat here and watched this evening. But it's only right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and even think about parting for the night, I need you to go ahead and understand what this means to our younger generation. Those individuals that are coming behind me and watching individuals like the ones we just sat up there and had today on the screen. These are the ones that are showing us exactly what it looks like to go ahead and reach and strive for greatness. These are the ones that have been able to go ahead and show them, give them the pathway, create this dynamic where they're going to be able to find their purpose in life. And so with that being said, I need to go ahead and make sure we let this younger generation have their opportunity to go ahead and let you know exactly what Pontiac history means to them, and also this history from a cultural standpoint. And so for that, I end up bringing someone who's an absolute young force of nature within itself. And I'm absolutely fond of him because he's my nephew. As you know, it's my adopted nephew, but it's absolute family to me. But also besides that too, we're talking about a young man who is really making it count out here. He is doing the darn thing. And this is the person that was the past vice president of my youth coalition. But upon graduating, he became one of our program coordinators, and he has been sensational with our kids, our Gen Zers. So it's with the greatest honor that I ask that you please put your hands together and welcome that younger generation, that young lion. I'm speaking about none other than the one, the only, Mr. Brian Bex. Take it away, nephew.
Good evening. I want to take this moment to thank you for allowing me to talk to you about history. Black history, our history. When we talk about trailblazers in Black history, we talk about people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Jackie Robinson. When we talk about the women that set trails for us, we talk about Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, and Maya Angelou. But what if I told you there are a few names that you didn't know about, like Shirley Chisholm, Annie Lee Cooper, and Dorothy Height? These women set trails that was second to none, and I'm completely grateful for the things that they've done. That's why it's so important that we're able to honor these trailblazers tonight and let them know that their importance are just as important as the names that I just said today. Our history in Pontiac is rich and great, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you feel as encouraged as I am. When I hear young voices like that come and give you their historic value and tell you exactly what history means to them, and also understand the importance in following all these greats, This lets me know that we're getting it done right. This also lets me know that we have so many promising young individuals that's coming behind us that's going to look to follow our leadership. And it's our job to make sure we do everything in our power to have their backs, to make sure they're going to be all right and they're going to be good as they go ahead and follow history, because eventually they're going to be the next history makers. And these are the ones that are going to go ahead and take it on to the next level when we're all grayed out and about to go ahead and transition into whatever retirement pieces of life, parts of life that we're looking to go ahead and fall into. But that's why we got to make sure that events like this always continue to take place. And I give you my word, as long as I draw a breath, there's going to be a Legends and Trailblazers event that's coming on behalf of the Ascend Foundation, on behalf of ACES Veteran Service, on behalf of Pontiac Collective Impact, our partnership. I'm talking about Dr. Semino Scott. I'm talking about H. Bill Maxey. And what you see here is the young man who feels so honored to have been able to serve as your facilitator this evening. My name is Keynote Phillips. Once again, I thank all of you so much for taking time out of your busy day to come and sharing this celebration with us. Like I said, it's the Legends and Trailblazers event. This is our 3rd annual, and I guarantee you with everything that I am, we were going to always have this event. So I need you to all get ready. Stay tuned for our next, the 4th annual Legends and Trailblazers event that's going to be taking place next year, February, because we're going to go ahead. We're going to do Black History Month. As far as I'm concerned, it should be Black History Year. But if they want to go and give us this month, we're going to go ahead and set that month off. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you go because I don't want to be more long-winded than I've already been. So I want you to enjoy your evening. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you next year. You take care and have a beautiful, blessed, peaceful evening. Salute.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war, that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Soul has no color, no shape, no form. You have the power to change perception, to inspire and empower, and to show people how to embrace their complications and see the flaws and the true beauty and strength that's inside all of us.
That's right. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
For those who marched, and for those who prayed, and for those who sang and bled, and for those who believed, and for those who died, I stand as 10,000 to the 10th power.